Good morning, students. Today's demonstration it's about skull, introduction to the skull. Okay. As we started the head and neck part, the first demonstration we are going to start with the skull. Of course, we have the other bones in the head and neck, the cervical vertebrae, mandible, and the hyoid bone. So that we will discuss in the coming demonstration classes. So today's demonstration we are going to discuss the skull. So the skull is mainly consists of cranium and mandible. So cranium plus mandible is equal to skull. Or so we can see the mandible. So here comes the mandible. So the mandible that articulates with the cranium. Okay. So the temporal bone at the temporal bone. So the mandibular fossa of the temporal bone. So they are forming temporomandibular joint. Okay. So this is the only mobile joint in the skull. Okay, and the remaining joints, hope you know the other joints of the cranium. So all the joints are fibrous joints. Okay, so mainly sutures. Okay, so that forms the all the bones of the cranium that unite to form the cranium. So we have 28 individual bones. So that articulate by means of the fibrous joints or the sutures, they were forming the cranium. Okay. So here comes the cranium. So mainly the cranium, it has got a cranial vault. You can see the cranial vault here. So this is the arched roof of the cranium is what is called cranial vault or the skull cap. This is skull cap. And so here comes the facial skeleton. So this is the facial skeleton of the cranium. Okay. And the cranial base. So this is the cranial base, facial skeleton, cranial vault. Okay. So if you remove the cranial vault, so you can see the interior of the base of the skull, interior of the cranial base. So it is divided into. So we have 3 cranial fossae. So this here comes the anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, posterior cranial fossa. Okay. So this will discuss in the next class. So come to the cranial vault. So you can see the cranial vault here. So the arched roof of the cranium is what is called cranial vault. Because you know the cranium, it is very important. So that largest important organ, so brain. Okay. And the other terminology. Okay. So we have the neurocranium, the cranium. So this part of the cranium is called neurocranium, and this part is called splanchno-cranium. Okay, the neurocranium because it lodges the brain. That's why it's called neurocranium. So you can see the splanchno-cranium. Of course, the area of the splanchno-cranium, which is very less in case of lower vertebrates, okay, like the quadrupeds, it is projected also. It is projected forwards. But in case of human beings, this splanchno-cranium, because it is flat, it is flat. So that is splanchno-cranium. And here comes the neurocranium. Okay, so the anterior part is the neurocranium that forms the upper part of the splanchno-cranium or the facial skeleton. What is this? Facial skeleton or splanchno-cranium. Here comes the neurocranium. What is this? Neurocranium. So that's about the neurocranium, splanchno-cranium. Of course, the parts of the cranium. So you have cranial vault, the facial skeleton, and the cranial base, and also so this is the interior of the base of the skull. Interior of the base of the skull. Okay, consisting of 3 cranial fossae. Coming to the vault. So what is the cranial vault? You can see this is a skull cap. Okay. So the skull cap is otherwise called vault, okay, of the skull. So any arched roof is called vault. Okay. So the structure of the vault. So if you see the structure, so the structure of the vault, it consists of mainly 2 tables: the inner table, outer table. Okay, see here. So there is a inner table, outer table. So the 2 tables, inner and outer tables, they are made up of compact bone. So they are made up of compact bone. So in between the 2 tables, so there is an intervening. So you can see here, so which is sandwiched between the 2 tables. What is called the spongy bone. Okay, the spongy bone or the cancellous bone, otherwise called diploid. What is this? Diploid. Okay, so that's about the diploid, which lies between the two tables which are made up of compact bone. So that is the structure of the wall. So just remember, what is diploid? The cancellous part of the wall, or the spongy part of the wall that lies between the two compact bones. Okay, what is called diploid. Okay, so that's about the diploid and vault. So these are the new terminology. Just remember these things. And coming to the vault, so it is mainly made up of the squamous part of frontal bone. So you can see this is squamous part of the frontal bone, and the squamous part of the occipital behind. And here comes the parietal bone. You can see the parietal bone here. So this is parietal bone, and all these bones, okay, they are attached by means of the sutures. You can see the sutures here. So these are all the sutures. So what is this suture called? So as this suture that lies in the coronal plane, so that's why it is called coronal suture. Coronal suture. And of course this suture is lies in the sagittal plane. That's why it is called sagittal suture. Okay, and this is lambdoid suture. So here comes the lambdoid suture. So this is lambdoid suture. This is sagittal suture, and here comes the coronal suture. Coronal suture. So by means of these sutures, these bones that are, of course, they were forming the vault of the skull, and here comes the structure of the skull, and this interior of the what is this? The vault of the skull. You can see the impressions here. So the impressions of the main blood vessels. So here comes the middle meningeal artery impression, the main important artery. So these are the impressions that you can see, the vessels that makes impressions, inner surface of the skull cap, what is called the vault of the skull. So this impression is because of the middle meningeal artery dividing into anterior and posterior divisions. Okay, so exactly over the meeting point called telia. There is a middle meningeal artery. Okay, so that divide, and of course that makes impressions with the inner surface of the vault. Okay, so that's about the this what is called skull cap. Okay, so the first part of the cranium, skull cap or vault of the skull, vault of the skull. Is it clear? So that's about the vault of the skull. Next come to the facial skeleton. So you can see the facial skeleton here. So this is a facial skeleton, okay, with mandible intact. And so here is the facial skeleton. So the facial skeleton, which is flat in case of human beings, but in case of the lower vertebrates like the quadrupeds, the dogs, and of course cows, there follows the facial skeleton, which is projected forwards, but in case of human beings it is flat. Okay, and mainly the facial skeletons you can see here. So it shows the two important cavities here, so the orbital cavities, which has got base and apex, posteriorly. Okay, so this is one cavity, these orbits, okay, that largest the important the sense organs, okay, the eyeballs, the optic nerve, ophthalmic artery, okay, the divisions of the trigeminal. So all these are contents, okay, so that we'll discuss in the theory part of the orbit class, and we'll discuss the bony part in case in the demonstration, the bony orbit. Okay, you can see here, so two orbits, okay, and here comes the nasal aperture. What is this? Nasal apertures. Nasal apertures. Of course, here comes the malar eminence. What are these called? The malar eminences, which are found by the cheeks, the eminence of the cheeks, that is found by the zygomatic bone. You can see here. So this is the two malar eminences and nasal apertures. Okay, and here comes the alveolar arch of the maxilla. What is this bone called? Maxilla. So this is called maxilla, and this is called mandible. This is mandible, lower jaw, upper jaw. The alveolar arch of the maxilla. Okay, and the malar eminences, nasal apertures. Okay, and the orbits, mainly the orbits. So these are the features, and so in the mandible you can see the mental protuberance. What is this? Mental protuberance. Okay, and the alveolar arch of the mandible. Okay, so these are all the main features, and we'll discuss in detail in the next coming the further classes of demonstration. Okay, this is facial skeleton, and so here comes the mandible. You can see the mandible. So the mandible mainly it has got the head, neck, those ramus, U-shaped body. So all this we'll discuss in detail. Okay. So as this is the introduction to the skull, first we are I'm briefing the skull. What is skull? And mainly, very important for sake of our convenience, the skull is okay. Mainly, we are going to study the skull under these headings. So we have the normals. So there is a norma when the skull is viewed from above. So this view is called norma verticalis. Norma verticalis. When the skull is viewed from above. Okay, so this is called norma verticalis. Okay, and when the skull is viewed from front, of course, this view is called norma frontalis. Norma frontalis. Of course, all the features in the norma frontalis is it will be discussed in detail in the further classes under the norma frontalis. Norma frontalis. Is it clear? And so this view is called norma lateralis. What is this? Norma lateralis. Of course, it has got so this side you can see norma lateralis, so where the zygomatic arch is formed by the zygomatic process of the temporal bone. Of course, so the temporal process of the zygomatic bone, so that forms the zygomatic arch that separates the norma lateralis into superior cranial fossa, superior temporal fossa, inferior temporal fossa. Of course, this is infratemporal fossa, supratemporal fossa. So norma lateralis, of course, the mastoid process, external acoustic meatus. So all this, so that comes here. So what is this? This is norma lateralis, norma frontalis, norma verticalis. Okay, and this is called norma basalis. What is this? Norma basalis. Okay, base of the cranium, base of the skull. Norma basalis. And when the skull is viewed from behind, so what is this called? Norma occipitalis. Norma occipitalis. So this view is called norma occipitalis. When it is viewed from back, norma. Norma means plane. Remember, norma means plane. So this plane is occipitalis, lateralis, frontalis, verticalis, basalis. Norma basalis. So that's about the different planes of the skull, and so we are going to discuss in detail about each and every plane. What are the bones forming the plane? What are the ligaments? What are the joints and what are the meeting points? Okay, so meeting points are very important. So you can see here. So this is the meeting point of coronal suture and sagittal suture. So this is called bregma. What is this? Bregma. Okay, so like that. So we have many meeting points for the different normas of the skull. So here this is called lambda. What is this called? Lambda. So this is lambdoid suture. This meeting point is called lambda. And of course, here comes very important meeting point. What is called teria. What is called teria. And of course, this is called asteria. What is this? Asteria. So like that. So many other meeting points that we'll discuss in detail in the coming the demonstration classes under the headings of the normas. Okay, norma verticalis, norma frontalis, norma occipitalis, norma lateralis, norma basalis. Okay, so that's about the normas, and of course the parts of the cranium, and of course the plus mandible is equal to skull. Cranium plus mandible is equal to skull. So mainly we have the neurocranium, the splanchno-cranium. So the splanchno-cranium that forms the facial skeleton. So which is flat, was all flat in case of human beings. And here comes the neurocranium, so which is not just very important organ of brain. Okay, and of course the special senses, the organs also that lies within the cranium. Okay, so next moving on to the anatomical position of the skull. So this is the anatomical position. So for that you should justify how can you say this is the anatomical position? What is the justification? So the justification for the anatomical position of the skull. So to justify the anatomical position of the skull, so there is a line called the Frankfurt's line. Okay? So there is a line called Frankfurt's line. So you can see here. So there is orbit. There is the orbit's infraorbital margin here. So of course supraorbital margin, infraorbital margin. So there is a line passing from the infraorbital margin to the upper borders, the upper margins of the external acoustic meatus. Is it clear? So this line. What is this line called? The Frankfurt's plane. Okay. So it goes above the external acoustic meatus. You can see here there is external acoustic meatus and infraorbital margin. Okay, line joining, imaginary line that is joining the infraorbital margin to the upper margins of the external acoustic meatus. So this plane is called Frankfurt's plane. Okay. course, there is one more line called Reed's baseline. So the Reed's baseline is almost same as the Frankfurt's plane, but only difference is the Frankfurt's plane, it goes above the external acoustic meatus. The Reed's baseline, it goes over the external acoustic meatus to the center of the external acoustic meatus. So that is the difference between the Frankfurt's plane and of course the Reed's baseline. Okay, so just remember any one line was the Frankfurt's plane, so that is from the infraorbital margin. So infraorbital margin to the external acoustic meatus, that goes above the external acoustic meatus. So what is that plane called? Frankfurt's plane. So this plane on either sides. Okay, so while keeping the skull in anatomical position, so this line, it should be parallel to the ground. Okay, it should be parallel to the ground. So that way you can keep the skull in its anatomical position. Okay, so there is a justification for the anatomical position of the skull, anatomical position of the skull. Okay, so this is how the skull is placed. So the Frankfurt's plane, it should be parallel to the ground. Okay, so in the standing posture, in upright posture, so the Frankfurt's plane, it is placed parallel to the ground. So thereby you can justify the anatomical position of the skull. Anatomical position of the skull. Okay. So that's about the introduction part of the skull and the normals of the skull. The parts of the skull mainly have cranium. The cranium has got again, of course, the cranial vault, and the facial skeleton, and the cranial base. Okay. Of course, if you remove the vault, you can see the interior of the base of the skull. Interior of the base of the skull consisting of anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, and the posterior cranial fossa. Okay, so that we'll discuss in detail in the coming classes. And mainly the vault of the skull and the facial skeleton, so which orbits and nasal apertures, malar eminences, alveolar arch of the maxilla. Okay, and the other important features, many other features that comes that we'll discuss in the that particular normos. In the normos comes, you can discuss nicely in detail about the other features of the skull. Okay, the normals in the normals. So norma naturalis, norma frontalis, norma occipitalis, norma verticalis, and norma basalis. Okay, so that's about the introduction part, the skull. I hope it is clear for you. Go through your textbooks, okay, and read about the introduction part, mainly the Frankfurt's. Right. So thank you for your patience listening.